That's rich. Great news. Uh-huh. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Okay. Okay, Harry. I'll talk to you soon. Goodbye. Oh. Oh. Hello. Didn't realize you were there. That was Harry, my producer. Heard that Mr. Donovan posted another video. I didn't watch it. Not that interested. Harry gave me the rundown, the gist. Apparently Mr. Donovan lost one of his storage units. Boo-hoo. You know how many storage units I've lost over the years? I don't even know what I own anymore. Come to think of it, I don't think I own anything. I've got this outfit. Top notch. Anyway, reminds me of a story of my own. I know Matt told a story a few days ago about his youth. Very poignant tale, learning to drive, something about a fly's butt. I met someone who reminded me of Mr. Donovan, so I wanted to share this story with you and hope that you can draw from it the same kind of wisdom that I was able to glean many, many years ago that apparently Mr. Donovan has not. Anyway, the year was 1996. I was something of an amateur archaeologist. I was living in Sea Isle City. That year there was a bad nor'easter. Huge snowstorm hit the East Coast. And in Sea Isle there was massive flooding. The waves pounded upon the shore, dredging up all sorts of artifacts from the ocean floor. There were mountains of clamshells. Actually, I think there were many live clams in there because it smelled awful, putrid, really. I loved it. Everybody else seemed to have complaints. But I would go out there day after day and go digging through those mountains of clamshells for fossilized bones and strange pieces of the past. Children's beach toys from the 60s, styrofoam cups from 1985, severed fingers from South Jersey mob deals gone wrong. Anyway, one particular night, I decided to take a walk north along the beach and just take in the sunset as it began to dampen the evening, darken the world around me. I walked for many blocks, lost in my thoughts. I noticed up ahead there was someone sitting in some type of large beach chair. As I approached, I noticed that it was a strange sort of beach chair. It looked to have large plastic yellow wheels. In fact, as I kept approaching, I noticed that it was actually some type of a beach wheelchair. Strange thing, I hadn't ever seen one before. There it was. When I was about a half a block away, I noticed there were no legs dangling over the front edge of the seat. And just a few yards from the person sitting in this beach wheelchair, I noticed it was a young woman who also had no arms. Now, I was a shy and awkward young man back in those days. Did my best to be polite, but when it came to talking to strangers, I feared for my life. Thought that the simple act of saying hello, being kind, could get me thrown into the back of a van, taken to some back alley in Atlantic City, robbed, beaten, left naked and bleeding. I don't know why I was afraid of that. It's kind of what happened to me every weekend in Wildwood when I was that age, but that was for fun. It's a different story then. Anyway, as I was passing this young woman, this quadriplegic woman sitting in a beach wheelchair, I nodded, said hello. She jumped at the interaction. She said, "Hello, how are you? How are you tonight? It's a lovely night, isn't it?" I stuttered and paused a moment. Yes, very nice, very nice. Well, good evening. And she said, "Well, it's so beautiful, but it's such a shame to enjoy such beauty alone. I feel so lonely. Don't you feel lonely?" At this point, my hackles were raised. I was feeling a bit awkward, but I could relate. I did, in fact, feel lonely. I could empathize with this poor young woman, even though I had all my limbs. What was inside resonated. I said to her, "You know, madam, I do, in fact, feel lonely. It is nice to see you." And admittedly, I was still a little bit freaked out that she had no arms or legs, so I tried to move on. But again, she reached out. She reached out verbally. She tried to grab a hold of my spirit. And she said, "You know, I don't have many friends. It's hard. It's hard making new friends. It's hard keeping friends. As you can see, I can't do the things that kids my age do." I took pause because she didn't really look like a kid. looked to be in her mid to late 20s. I mean, she was pretty in the face. The rest of her, anyway, she said I don't have many friends, that's why I come down here. Come down here to admire the ocean. I imagine that one day someone will come walking along, enjoying the beauty, the majesty of the ocean, and the beach at dusk, and that they will be my friend. I said, oh, that's very nice. She said, will you be my friend? Oh, I felt slightly out of place, out of sorts, out of my mind, because I said, yes, I will be your friend. I understand what it's like. I sometimes feel like an outcast. I have friends. I can play soccer. I can dance until the sweat pours out of my eyeballs and the blood pumps, pounding with the house music, and my booty shorts right up to my neck. I dance like a satyr. I dance like Bacchus. She seemed to be a bit offended by that, so I tried to tone it down afterwards. But I said, of course I will be your friend. She said it's tough. It's tough at home. My mother passed away in the same accident that left me like this. Just my father and I have no siblings. My father is a lonely man. He's a good man. He's good to me. But sometimes his bitterness wells up. And he comes down on me rather hard. He says, you don't do anything but just sit around and watch TV, read books. So why don't you help with the housework? Do some dishes, maybe mop the floor, clean the grout in the bathroom. We have plenty of old toothbrushes. I buy a new one every 6 months, just like I'm supposed to. I save them all. They're in a basket under the sink. You could be doing something useful. In fact, that's what happened tonight. It's all about the grout. So I left, I came down here, tried to clear my head, and imagine somehow God would hear my prayers and bring me a friend. And he has. Thank you, sir. I said you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be your friend. Thank you for being my friend. This is lovely. But it is getting late. I don't want to keep you. Perhaps we could pick this up again sometime. And she cut me off. She said, you know, you're a very nice young man. Very kind. I bet you have lots of friends. I bet you have great fun with your friends. I bet you have a lovely girlfriend. I'm sure you're trying to get back home to her and do the things that lovers do in the night. I said, no, I actually don't have a girlfriend. But that's very kind. That's very sweet of you to say. Such beautiful things. Such things that tickle the strings of my heart. She said, you know, I don't have a boyfriend. In fact, I never have. I don't know what it's like. Never had that closeness, that romance. She said, no one's ever really hugged me. My father hugs me, but it's not the same. I don't have a friend. I don't have a boyfriend to give me that hug, that sweet, warm embrace of knowing and oneness. She said, I know this is awkward. I know this is strange, but you are my friend, and I could really use a hug. I looked around, wanted to make sure no one saw it. It was rather awkward. I said to myself, you know what? This poor young woman is hurting inside on so many levels I can't even imagine. And it was doing my soul good to have this conversation. And I said, of course I will give you a hug. So I leaned down and over, didn't really know what to do with my hands. So it was an awkward hug, I guess. More kind of like me trying to pick up a log, but I gave her a hug and she was beaming from ear to ear. And it made my heart sing. A little bit. And I said, you know, I'm really glad that we've had this time, but I really must be going. It is getting dark and I'm sure you need to get home soon. I don't see any lights on this chair. I don't even know how you operate it, honestly. None of my business. We should probably get going. She said, yes, you know, you're right. It is getting dark, it's getting late. I really appreciate your friendship. And the hug was wonderful. It made me soar upon the wings of eagles from the land of pure joy and triumphant ecstasy. I said, I know I had that effect on women. And she said, you know what? Along with never having very many close friends or even a boyfriend, never being hugged. And I know this is, she didn't do that. She couldn't do that. She said, I know this is probably even more awkward and I feel so stupid. I feel horrible for saying it, but I've never been kissed. I was feeling very awkward again, being propositioned like that. I looked around again, made sure no one was watching. And she said, if I could just have one thing before you go. She said, If I could ask you one thing, please don't judge me. You can walk away, you can say no, but please just don't judge me. Would you kiss me? I was in a very difficult spot. This young woman had touched my heart in so many ways in such a short amount of time. How could I deny her? But at the same time, it was weird. It was very weird. But having spied my surroundings, making sure no one was watching, no one would ever know, I again leaned in awkwardly. Again, didn't know what to do with my hands, so I just cupped her beautiful young face, closed my eyes, and went for it. She was pretty good kisser. I kind of held on for an extra second because I was enjoying it, till I remembered where I was. And then I stood up and I said, you know, I really must be going. It has been lovely. And again, she kind of gestured as if she were reaching out to stop me. She said, you know, I think we have something here. You know, I think I can tell you anything. It's amazing. Never had a close friend like this. No one's ever listened to me this long before. But you care. You have a wonderful heart and very soft lips. She said, I know you have to go. I won't keep you any longer. I just have to say one more thing. Never had a best friend. Never had a boyfriend. I don't know if that's what we are, but I feel that there could be something there. Never really gotten a hug like that or a passionate kiss like that. She said, I know this is crude, but the blood is boiling up within me. My spirit is on fire. My soul taking flight like that eagle out of the land of passion and joy and exceedingly ecstatic, wondrous place of joy thing that you were talking about earlier. She said that. It was a little more eloquent when she said it, but she said, no, never been before. I had to step back. I kind of tripped, almost fell in the water, made me look back, remember where I was, what was actually going on here. I didn't know this woman. She didn't know me. I was just trying to be nice. That's what I get. I didn't even look around this time. I knew what I had to do. I was trapped. Only one choice. So once again, I leaned in, put my arms under where her arms would be, tenderly, very gently, lifted her up. And then I threw her in the ocean. And I said, there you go. Now you're So, Mr. Donovan, boo-hoo. No one's giving you any money. Can't save your storage unit full of trash. Big deal. Everybody's got bigger problems. It's all fun and games until you have to actually do some work by yourself. Get over it. You, just like that quadriplegic woman I met on the beach so many years ago. You're now, buddy. Have fun.